and I'm a speech therapist at Therapy Playground.
And I'm Erin, and I'm a speech therapist here also. I know a few days ago, Jen and Kelly talked to you guys about developmental milestones in speech and language across certain age groups. What we're going to do today is explain how those milestones correspond to language therapy at those times also.
We'll start with the 18-month to 3-year-old age range. 18 months is when therapy would usually start for a child who needs it. It's usually at the 18-month checkup where the doctor will make a referral for a speech and language evaluation. The doctor can make the referral in 2 ways. The one way would be to go through the CDSA, which is the North Carolina Birth to 3 program. If the parents choose to go through the CDSA, the family is assigned a service coordinator, and the family, along with the service coordinator and the therapist, will determine the best environment for therapy, whether it be the home, the daycare, or the clinic. The parent could also choose to work directly with an agency like Therapy Playground, and then the therapy would be clinic-based. For the 18-month to 3-year age range, therapy is very play-based. It's going to look like play to the unfamiliar watcher. There's going to be lots of toys, and it's usually going to be done on the floor. The therapy is going to be child-directed as well, so the therapist will usually follow the child's lead. We'll work on some basic concepts like identifying and labeling pictures, objects, body parts, answering yes-no questions, following simple directions. We'll also work on emerging sounds and combining those sounds to form words, combining those words into short phrases. For the nonverbal child, maybe we'll put a little bit more emphasis on gestures and simple sign language. We're also going to look at their social interaction, and we're going to do this through games and songs, and that way we can work on pointing, eye contact, and turn-taking. Turn-taking is a great precursor to conversational skills. We're basically going to want to see that they have all these functional and pretend play skills to incorporate into therapy while we work on the child's specific goals.
As they get a little older, into the preschool age, 3 to 5 years, they're going to be transitioning from the CDSA to a more clinic-based or preschool-based setting. They can be receiving services through the school system, through preschool, and they can also receive extra services through their insurance provider here at the clinic. We're usually transitioning from the more child-directed play-based type therapy to a more clinician-directed play and structure type therapy, maybe with some crafts, some activities, beginning to use some kind of worksheets, games, and incorporating some drill activities. We'll be working on some pre-literacy skills, learning some letters, some sight words, learning their name, how to spell it, how to write it, colors and numbers, things like that. We'll also be at this time focusing more on intelligibility and how understandable the child is to an unfamiliar listener. At this age, they're typically more aware of how people perceive them and understand them, and so they're a little bit more eager to learn as well. So we'll be working on those type sounds like K's and G's that are in that age range. We'll also begin working on pronouns, he and she, me and you, and some prepositions like on, off, under, behind, and things like that.
The next age range we'll look at is the early school age range. That's usually from 5 to 7 years, and it's usually once the children have entered kindergarten up until 2nd grade. The schools can also supplement our individual therapy that we do here at the clinic in a group setting. Therapy in the schools is usually done in a group setting, maybe even up to 5 children to one therapist, and that's great to work on some of their social skills while we can supplement more individually here. The school, at this age, the therapy becomes a little more structured. We try to mimic a school environment, so the therapist and the child will be sitting in chairs, they'll be at the table. We'll be maybe even working on some worksheets and on some computer games. We'll also keep it fun and exciting for the child with books and board games and other things of interest to each specific child. The goals and the areas targeted will be a little higher level now. We'll be working on things like vocabulary, grammar, sentence structure, and specifically maybe some areas we would look at would be analogies, sequencing, inferencing, all those emerging skills once the child is in that school range. The articulation we would work on would get to be a little bit harder. We want most sounds to come in by the time a child is 8 years of age, so maybe the early school age we would be working on S's and Z's. At this range, we would also maybe start to get some stutterers. A child who has a fluency disorder would maybe start seeing us around this age as well. Kindergarten and up is also a great time to start social skill groups if needed. Here at Therapy Playground, we offer social skills groups for children kindergarten and higher, and we group the children by their ability, age, developmental level, and we work on some of those social situations that they might have a difficult time with and how to relate with their peers and other adults.
As they get a little bit older, over 7 years, over second grade, we'll basically be working to fine-tune all of those speech and language goals that we've already discussed here with you today. Most of these children are receiving services at school also. They're mostly in resource classes for other subjects as well. And this therapy is very direct teaching, clinician directed. We will be working on those harder articulation skills that Chrissy talked about, some auditory processing, storytelling, phonological awareness, some more higher level vocabulary like synonyms and antonyms, and also, as we touched on before, some appropriate social language and behavior. Obviously, we want therapy to be fun and productive at any age.
We hope you guys learned a lot today about how therapy differs over different ages. If you have any more questions, we'd love to talk to you at Therapy Playground.